Greetings, 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 brothers and sisters, greetings. First and foremost, we must acknowledge our Heavenly Father, Yahweh, through His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, for allowing this word to come out, man. I hope you're sincere. Brothers and sisters are truly, truly edified by today's word. Today is so-called Tuesday, September 23rd. I'm in Madison, Wisconsin. I'm out of town. In a training, and so been pretty busy of late, man. So my voice is a little scratchy, slightly dehydrated. Apologize for that. But yeah, man, I'm out of town at a training, and I just wanted to spend some time this evening, man, and just share my spiritual thoughts and concerns of the violence that's really happening with our youth. I speak and teach about this all the time, and it seems as though I don't speak about it enough. Here, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, violence has really revved up of late, and it's senseless violence. And I think when we really look at it from a spiritual perspective, we got to put it in the arms, we got to put it in the lap of the parents. Not saying the parents is 100% to blame, but when you look at these tragedies and you looking at some of these situations that these youth find themselves in, you can't help but to wonder what type of upbringing, what type of direction, what type of guidance was bestowed upon these children. Because it appears that a lot of these children, a lot of these youth are engaging in behaviors that you would think an adult would engage in. Not saying that it's okay for an adult to engage in these behaviors, but typically when you hear some of these behaviors, you're not thinking that 11-year-old, 12-year-old is emulating or perpetrating these behaviors. So I don't have a title for this word at this moment. Through the power and spirit of Yahweh, through His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, hopefully I'll be able to come up with a title that's very fitting by the time I'm able to finish delivering this word, okay? Proverbs 22:6, man, is one of the main scriptures as parents, as guardians, that we really should invest in. It says, Proverbs 22:6, train up a child in the way he should go, and even when he is old, he will not depart from it. So when you think about that, train up a child in the way that he should go. That means that you want to mentor, you want to instruct, you want to give this child the right understanding, the right, you want to point them in the right direction, man. A way that's going to allow them to have a fighting chance in this world, especially if you're a God-fearing, spiritual law-abiding parent. Proverbs 22:6 should be on top of your list when we're talking about raising your children. The saddest thing that you want to see is your child end up in a bad situation due to you not properly training him or her in the way they should go, man. And again, this is not about pointing the blame at parents, but what I'm saying is we have to start somewhere. When we're looking at these children, 11-year-old kill a 10-year-old or a 13-year-old kill an 11-year-old, we have to look at the parents and say, okay, what happened here? What happened with this kid where he found himself engaging in this behavior? A lot of these pastors, a lot of these bishops don't want to have these type of conversations. But these are the conversations that need to be had. What are we doing with the youth today? Again, Proverbs 22:6, it says, train up a child in the way he should go. In other words, you lead him in the right direction. You lead him or her in the right direction. You give them all the necessary tools to be on the right-hand side of things, and they won't depart from it. And if they should have friends, obviously, once you train them up in the way they should go, they're going to separate themselves with others that line up with that, because they've been taught that. You see? And like I said, man, it's the parenting today has gotten so lazy. The teaching today has gotten so lazy, where these kids and these youth teaching themselves. You know, you got some parents that's strung out on drugs. They can't train up a child in the way they go. You know, you got some kids that's forced to be in foster homes. Those people in them places ain't gonna really train up a child in the way you should go. So I'm telling you, man, it's just, brothers and sisters, we really need to be trying to reach these kids today. Grab a hold to these kids, man, and point them in the direction of the Lord. Because the way I see it, that's the only chance they got, man. In Ephesians chapter 6, verse 4, and it reads, fathers, do not provoke your children to anger, but bring them up in the discipline and instruction of the Lord. There it is right there. When you bring your child up in the way of pointing them in the direction of Yahweh, who was only begotten Son, Yahushua, you will see a lot less of these tragedies that's happening, and that's real. Now, we understand the Lord controls it all, but I'm willing to bet that when you bring your children up in the discipline and instruction of the Lord, it's going to be a lot less of these senseless violence that's taking place, man. Here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, I think last week, a 13-year-old robbed and killed an 11-year-old. Come on, man. That's just one of many that's happening. And if it's happening in Milwaukee, it's happening everywhere. So I'm telling y'all, brothers and sisters, man, step your parent game up. Step your grandparent game up. Pay attention to these children. Pay attention to what they're exposed to. Pay attention to what they're involved in. I'm telling you. And part of training up a child in the way you should go, sometimes, man, you gotta properly spank their ass coming up. When they do something they're not supposed to be doing, take the rod. The scriptures speak about spare not a rod. Matter of fact, let me get that. Because I'm telling you, man, it's these kids today it's almost like they're taking care of themselves, man. They're raising themselves, you know. And so what I want to do is, I'm sorry, man, I thought I had it, but give me a second, man, as we get ready to close out this word. Okay. But we have to we really have to step up, brothers and sisters, man, because I'm telling you, if not, we're going to be in trouble, man. Proverbs 13:24 reads, he that spared his rod hated his son, but he that loveth him chastened betimes. Okay? Now, let's really look at that. In Proverbs 13:24, those who spare the rod of discipline hate their children. Those who love their children enough care enough to discipline them. So let me just break that down one more time, man. Proverbs 13:24 reads, those who spare the rod of discipline hate their children. Those who love their children care enough to discipline them. So if you have love for your children, part of loving them is spanking their ass. That's the love. Because again, that's going to point them in the direction of Proverbs 22:6. And a lot of that's not happening. So I'm just telling you, man, parents, you sincere brothers and sisters out there that have children and grandchildren, we got to make sure we do our part. Because the way I see it today, these kids raising themselves, man. And that's all I got for you, man. I hope you, sincere brothers and sisters out there, were truly, truly edified by this word. We give all praises, glory and honor to our Heavenly Father, Yahweh, through His only begotten Son, Yahushua, for allowing this word to come out. And hey, listen, man, prayers goes out to the families of that have lost their young ones. I wouldn't wish that on the enemy, man. It's so heartbreaking today to see the youth just being destroyed. The youth supposed to be the future. So if the future is getting gunned down and murdered, ain't nobody to take over this. We all going down at the same time. Old, young, in between. We all going down at the same time, man. Now I want you to think about that. I want you to process that. That's all I got for you, man. First and foremost, we want to acknowledge our Heavenly Father, Yahweh, through His only begotten Son, Yahushua, for allowing this word to come out. Keep Yahweh, through His only begotten Son, Yahushua, first in everything that you do. And when it's all said and done, bring the masseuse.